Berjalan ke tak? Okay, so dah berjalan pun record. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Tonight we have another episode of Ask Me Anything, and tonight we have Syaza as my guest. So I want to say thank you so much to Syaza for agreeing to do this webinar tonight. And as per normal, normally I would have a poll question for you. So I have a poll question. Let me launch this. Slow malam ni. Okay. Ada nampak tak? So my question tonight is, do you have a personal brand? So yes, I definitely have one. Yes, I think so. No, tak pernah dengar before ni. Or
Tak
no,
nampak rasanya
because
pool tu.
I don't care.
Tak nampak rasanya pool tu.
Tak nampak. Tapi orang dah voting eh.
Okay, then I je tak nampak. Kenapa I tak nampak?
Oh, maybe sorry, tak nampak.
Oh, dia muncul. Oh, sorry, dia muncul kat skrin lagi sebelah. Pelik sekejap ya. Kenapa kat sebelah sana?
Okay. So let me show you the result. Right. So the result, some of you already have a personal brand, and then a couple of you no, because you don't care what people think. Oh, okay. So interesting. Okay, let me stop this and then we start the discussion, and hopefully by the end of this, we can convert everyone to at least believing that we need to have a personal brand. Okay, kejap, let me share screen. Share screen.
Halfway through, I will let you guys know now that there will be a baby joining us. Saya dah boleh dengar suara dia menjerit.
Okay. Nampak tak screen sekarang?
Nampak.
Nampak.
Muka
Alright, okay.
Sebelum beranak.
Nampak dah. Okay, so siapa yang tak kenal saya lagi? Saya Dr. Az. I am a medical doctor, but currently I work for a pharmaceutical company. I've been working in pharma industry almost 20 years. I work in England, in Germany, in US, and now I'm back in Malaysia. And in the last couple of years, my focus have also been about career development. So I'm really interested in that. And for me, when you think about career development, I think that you need to make sure that your CV, your LinkedIn profile, your interview technique, your presentation technique, your work performance, and then your image, personal branding, and your networking all need to be tip-top. And I've covered this in various sessions in the past. And if you want to look at all the sessions, you can click on the QR code and look at the recording. And tonight we have another perspective about personal branding. Before this, I had another guest discussing that. It's good to hear other people's viewpoint on this topic as well. And that's why I invited Syaza to be here tonight, and I pass it on to her to introduce herself.
I used to have a very standard way of saying this is who I am, but right now the first thing that comes to mind when you ask me, hi, I'm Syaza, I am a mom. So that everybody is aware there'll be a baby semua benda kan. But so just a little bit of background about me. I started because we're talking about personal brand, so I'm gonna do the old spiel of I started blogging way back when blog was a thing. So way back in 2008. So that's when I started blogging. Because I was in boarding school. But when you are in boarding school, you don't have handphones at that point, and you were still too young. So you're like, okay lah, itu je yang that's the only medium that you have to stay connected. Facebook wasn't a thing back then. It was Friendster and MySpace.
Wow.
So blogging became my way of just sharing what happened in school, what happened when I go back home on holidays and everything. And then from that one single point of starting a blog, that just ended up being a big part of my identity, and that kind of helped me create my own career journey essentially, and landed me where I am now. So I work in education, even though my background is not in education, but we can talk about that a little bit later. So I used to work in the school, I used to work in the university, and then I worked in the school, and then I worked in education consulting. And now I work with Talent Corp. And I can safely say that my personal brand or my blog has helped me land 3 of my jobs. Not the first one, but the next 3 jobs that I have are all because of who I am as a person and my brand online. Even Talent Corp's job now, pun technically speaking, I did apply for it because this role was created solely for me based on what I can do. So they didn't have this role previously, and the VP was like, "Are you looking for a job now? Are you looking to come back to work? If yes, then I want you in to do this and that because of what you can do." So I am a firm believer of having how a good personal brand can actually help you. To answer the question tadi, everybody has a brand. It's just a matter of if you want to use it or not. Some people don't want to use their brand, and that's okay. Some people use it a little bit too much, and that's also okay. It just depends on how comfortable you are with how much you want to use it at the end of the day.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna stop before I start rambling on.
Thank you so much, Syaza. I think it's a great introduction to hear about how your own personal branding has really helped you with your career. And normally with this session, we have a series of questions that we prepared before. And of course, the audience, if you have more questions that you want to ask us, ask at any time. You can either type or you can unmute, and you can show yourself too if you're feeling pretty tonight, and just ask us any question. Me and Syaza will be more than happy to answer what queries you have. So going to the first is about what is personal branding. It's to me, it's sort of a new buzzword recently, that personal image, personal branding, that you don't really hear about this, let's say 5, 6 years ago, also not so frequent, but now it's very common. People say personal image, personal branding, and I want to hear from Syaza, what's a good definition of it to make our audience understand what is it really, and what is it not as well.
Yeah, I think that like back then, people don't think of it as a personal brand. People only think about it as an image that like most artists or celebrities have. But a good way to sum it up that I like to use is your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So what comes to their mind when they hear your name? What comes to their mind when you like turn your back around, and when people ask about you, what's the first thing that they will say about you? So that is essentially what your brand is. Because like if I ask you, okay, what comes to mind when you hear the word Maggie? That Maggie is a brand, but then the first thing that comes to mind is probably the Maggie noodle itself, which
Yep.
is not the only thing that Maggie has, but it's the first thing that comes to mind because you probably use it a lot more. So it stands out. Like Kleenex, like it's tissue, tapi Kleenex punya brand yang lagi famous because how strong the brand is. When you sakit kepala, you say, "Oh, I want Panadol," but it's actually, doctor, you actually want PCM. But Panadol has become the brand for all painkillers because how strong the brand is. So same goes to personal. It's not just branding. It's not just for items. It's not just for businesses. It's for your own good as well. So when I say a few names, usually there'll be an image that comes to mind. When I say Vivi Yusof, everybody will have the duck image in their head. When I say Lee Chong Wei, they will always have something that comes to mind. Even Najib, and the first thing that comes to mind when people say Najib is like, oh, it's Bosku. Because that's his brand. Alif Shukri, Telajak Lari. So all of these are all really strong people with strong personal branding. The only difference is how do you put your personal brand to use? Are you using it for good? Are you using it for bad? Are you using it to gain personal interest? Are you doing it to better other people? That's all on you. That's up to you on how you want to use it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you for that, Syaza. I think I really like what you said about it's how people describe you when you're not around. And today in my LinkedIn post about tonight's event, I say, what if you want to make it a little bit simpler, what are the 3 words that you want people to talk about you? And and then it becomes manageable. It becomes a target of how you behave, how you do your personal branding. Because sometimes when I say to people about personal branding, and they only think about the artist, they think it's not relevant to me in the workplace, because I just turn up as who I am, and who I am is a brand. But you can also tweak it to make it relevant to your career, to your next career, to the job promotion that you want. And back to what you said, how do you use your personal branding to get to a better job, like what you have described for you, kan? Like your brand, your personal presence online attracted people to your work, and that's how you managed to get 3 of your job just now, you said, Syaza. Yeah. So I think it brings us to how much attention do people need to put into their personal branding? And maybe I think this question is more because the current age, the modern age, the last 2-3 years, the social media is more widespread, and being available online, like having your online presence, make it much more, in a way, accessible how we curate our personal branding. So I think what do you think about this question, Syaza?
Definitely. I think so there's two folds to that. How much should you pay attention to your personal brand, and how much do people actually pay attention to it? But yeah, like you said, because this generation and this time where social media is rampant everywhere, everybody is on everything. You're on TikTok, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter, or X, and literally every other social media. So macam people feel that they need to have presence on everything so that they can build a strong personal brand. So like they have to have a LinkedIn profile, they have to have a Twitter, they have to have a TikTok account, Instagram, and everything else. You don't have to have everything. You just focus on what is your end goal when you actually want to build a personal brand. Is it just to find a better job? Is it to find new businesses, new customers? If you run your own business, do you want more clients? Do you want more customers? Do you just want to network with other people in your industry so that you can climb up the career ladder? So have a goal for your brand, and at the end of the day, you can zone in on how much time do you need to build on it. If you're a business owner, you're gonna spend a lot more on your personal brand, because people will buy your products if they can relate more to you. But if you're an employee and you're looking for a salary job, you don't have to spend so much time on it, because as long as you have a good enough brand that people know who you are, and then like you start small with your colleagues, you start small with your company. If you've been working at the same company for 5 years and people don't know who you are other than your own department, you better start to do something so that people actually know who you are.
Ada problem tu.
Macam kenapa dah kerja 5 tahun but people still don't know who you are, kan? Macam I dah kerja kat Talent Corp for 22 days. I started on the 1st November, so it's been 22 days. CEO dah cam I sebab last weekend we had a treasure hunt activity, and during the warm up punya session, I ran up on stage untuk join Zumba on stage dengan the instructor. Lepas tu ended up we won the treasure hunt. So then the CEO nampak muka I lagi, so dia macam, oh, you yang tadi menari kat atas kan? So I macam, good, you know me. We tak officially meet lagi, but okay, we can start somewhere. So even now pun within Talent Corp pun, when I walk around, because the treasure hunt was last Saturday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I masuk office macam, oh, you yang menang hari tu kan, your team yang menang kan, and then the conversation start talking. But from that I get, it's a lot easier for me to kind of get to know people, because there's already something that they can talk about, which is, oh, yang ni yang menang treasure hunt. Macam benda macam kecil je kan, tapi macam it opens up conversation lah. And then rather than just a random newcomer suddenly macam, oh, nak buat meeting, oh, suddenly nak tanya benda ni, you don't have anything to help you bring up the conversation. Sebab the first step je yang the hard one, because most of the time you tak tahu macam nak approach somebody. But then now, because the gate dah open dah, macam people macam, oh, dia yang menang tu aja. Okay, oh, you memang suka join ke? Oh, memang before this kerja mana? Then it's a lot easier of like, oh, actually nak buat benda ni sekarang.
Yeah.
So Tak payah
Yeah,
fikir extravagant pun sebenarnya. Like, oh, I have to have a portfolio, I have to have a website, I have to start doing podcasting, doing this. You don't have to start big. Just do what is comfortable to you and start small. Sebab kalau tak, you rasa intimidated, you pun penat.
yeah, yeah. I agree. But the main thing from what you said is what is your goal? What is the objective? And when I work with my team about their personal branding, what is your goal? You want to get promoted to regional office, to global office. So then your image needs to suit those places. If you just want to stay in Malaysia, quite happy, then okay lah, no need to be so international looking, for example. And an example is myself. Now I'm happy with my career. I've achieved quite a lot, so I'm not really looking to climb the career ladder. So the things I focus on is
You dah
more
ke
about
atas, nak climb ke mana lagi?
dah sampai ke sana, tak sempat lah. Yeah, so then my image is more about making sure that people want to hear about what I want to say about career progression. So it's not about me myself, but when I work with my team, then I ask them, okay, you want to get promoted. So what are the three words for you? And if they say, I want to be seen as nice, approachable, and then I'll go, is nice going to get you promoted?
Yes.
It's like, not sure. I mean, it make you great colleagues, but I'm not sure it's gonna get you promoted. So you need to think about more powerful stuff when you're thinking about promotion. So again, it's very important about what's your objective when you do your personal branding in terms of your career or whatever else that you're trying to achieve. Yeah.
My goal dulu with my personal brand was I want to reach a place that I don't apply for jobs. People come to me and offer me jobs that they know would fit me. Dah check that off, so now I need a new goal.
Wow, that's really awesome. Yeah. So when
I
you're clear
definitely
with
did
your
not
goal.
expect to get that at such a young age. So macam, I was expecting that a little bit later on, macam mungkin okay, I can get there one day. Macam okay, now I need a new goal so that I can focus a little bit more on what else do I want to work on.
Yeah,
Definitely.
wonderful, Syaza. Really good.
Having the goal definitely helps.
Yep. I agree with that. So we have some questions already on the chat. Let me read the first one. Shariman, a bit late. Waalaikumsalam, Shariman. Glad you're in. First one from Ridwan. How can we survey other people's opinion about us when we're not in the room positively?
Oh, I suka dia. I straight away ask. I'm very open and I'm very macam literally macam my friend cakap, first day masuk office kan, everybody dah tahu kisah hidup I dengan husband I dengan anak I semua dah tahu. I'm lebih open.
Open
But
book kan?
I'm a very open book person. My husband is not. But I like to survey, and I think a lot of my friends would notice this, that I ask them a lot of questions. Like at least once a year, I will ask my Instagram followers, okay, tell me one thing, one word that comes to mind when you think about me, or apa nama, if what careers do you think suit me, or things like that. You just ask for feedback because that's the easiest way for you to know if you're on the right track or not.
So you do that on Instagram, really?
Yes, I do it on Instagram every year or so, plus minus. Also shameless plug lah, but I'm gonna there was one part so I also write because I write kan. So I write a book. Mungkin tak nampak sangat, which is this pink
Your
book.
best self.
Your
Yeah,
best self.
can see.
Talking about self-discovery, talking about branding and finding out what you want to do in life lah. So one of the activity I like to suggest people buat is to actually ask a friend to say that, oh, can you tell me 3 things that I'm good at, 3 things that I'm bad, and then or like 3 things about me that you value. So like either 3 strengths or 3 traits that I have that you value, and then 3 improvement that you think I can work on. So at least now you know how do people perceive you from your friends, your colleagues, and what are your strengths yang you ada, and then what are the weaknesses. And then when you compare your one answer to another, and then you macam, okay, actually 3 orang dah cakap aku ni pendiam. Okay, I need to work on that a little bit more. If you want to be seen as a little bit more extroverted, if you want to be seen as a little bit more teamwork leadership punya person. Tapi kalau dah 4-5 orang cakap macam, oh budak ni disiplin, tapi you rasa you not discipline, but your friends and colleagues see it that way, then macam okay, mungkin ada betulnya kat situ. Because for us as human kan, we tend to see the worst in ourselves and the best in other people.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to do that is just to ask people what they see of you. Just ask straight up. Just cakap lah, I'm working on some self-development journey right now and I want to improve myself. Can you share this with me? So ask people that you know can give you honest feedback, even though it's negative, but at least honest, so that you actually want to work on the negative part. Sebab some people jenis yang macam, oh dia akan puji you, melambung semua benda, tak nak bagi tahu all the bad stuff, but you need friends who can tell you the bad stuff.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
where you can improve better. So just ask. So
I agree with that. And if
good people
you're
to ask, your colleagues, your ex-colleagues, kalau you dah pernah kerja tempat lain before this, you ask your ex-colleagues, you can ask your close friends who know you best. Family probably tak lah, sebab family see a different part of you sebenarnya. So I try not to ask family because I definitely know what my parents would say about me.
still a
And then,
child.
and demon kan, rebel gila. You can ask your ex-boss if you're still on good terms, ask them. And just randomly ask on social media lah, because you might have random followers and you tak tahu pun siapa, mutual friends ke kan. Then that will also be a good indicator of what other people outside your circle see you as.
Very, very good. I want to add that I've done this as well, to basically ask via a Google document, because in Google document you can be anonymous.
Yes.
So it might be helpful with your friends yang don't want to hurt your feelings, so they know that okay, I can just do it in Google Sheet. She wouldn't know who wrote this. So that would be an option. So I've done this before. I asked about what 3 words you would want to use to describe me. And then it's anonymous. They can just write it down. And I was very happy. At this time, I didn't tell them what I've been working on. So I was very happy to see that there were many words about kind, about being innovative, exploring, because that's what I wanted to achieve. And I'm happy that I got to get that feedback from them that, hey, actually it is working. Yeah. So you can do that. Either ask right out, or if you want to be let people be anonymous, you can just use one of the Google document. But essentially, ask people. Otherwise, you're not going to know.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Or if you I also randomly macam once a year, okay, mungkin tak, twice a year kot, I do random checks on Google and Twitter to see if anybody says anything. This is really good for me bila macam when I write a blog that goes viral, then I suka tengok lah. Tapi lately dah tak buat sebab I macam dah tak aktif sangat on social media. But dulu yes, because then I randomly get people writing about my book ke, my blog ke, then I just like to see these hidden comments yang they don't say to me straight up. So macam feedback ni bagus. Oh, buku ni macam orang cakap macam tak best sangat ke apa. Then you can take in the feedback from there lah.
Right.
But yeah, kalau nama terlampau common, susah sikit lah.
True. So there's a follow-up from Safwan. Will the feedback backfire us? So I think what you mean is it your feeling, Safwan, or what do you mean by that?
I mean by when not all feedbacks, we cannot control those people who give us feedback on social media. So any of it will backfire us. We may disregard it, but people who are going to view it, for example, if we post it on LinkedIn to ask for the survey, for example, yeah.
Definitely gonna happen. You will have haters. You cannot please everybody. So even if they say bad stuff, you taking what you can, you improve what you can, and the ones that you cannot, just ignore it lah. Because in Islam we say that if you say good things, you say in public. If you want to say bad things, you say in private kan. So if they have the audacity to say really, really, really negative stuff yang terlebih negative in public, that says something about them juga. So to a certain extent, I just ignore them. You can choose to delete it, but I tend not to. So just leave it out in the open, and you can thank them professionally. Like, thank you for your feedback. I will take that into consideration.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have to say, one time I was naughty and I deleted a negative comment, and then the guy put it back on.
This happens a lot with businesses. When we post negative reviews, they will remove.
Yeah, and what I would say is be ready for the negative feedback. And
There will definitely be negative feedback lah.
yes, and the first one will be a bit painful to read. I have to say, I thought I was ready, but then when I got the first negative feedback, it really did go into your heart. Oh, it's like, oh. But then after a while, yeah, you just like, okay, now whatever. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah. And you look and see, is there anything that I can improve? There might be some truth to their comment, right? Or their feedback, and see what you can take from that. But yeah, no need to argue about it. Okay, the next question is from Travis. Travis said, what we think of ourselves may not be what others think of us. How can we portray that image we want others to see of us? So I think it's kind of related to what we discussed just now. Yeah, Syaza.
Yes, so if we start off with the three words, this is what you want people to recognize you by or know you by semua, you want to focus on that lah. But you cannot macam you want to be kind to the nature. So for me, one of my goal is to be as approachable as possible so people can see me as a friend when they come to me to ask questions ke apa. So I like to be the one answering all the questions. So they ask me job searching question lah, tak macam nak sama master lah, all the study tips semua benda. So for most people, for most students, they see me as approachable. They see me as an akak who can answer questions, which is what I want. But some people see from a different view of like, oh, budak ni macam know it all lah. Macam boleh tak tolong diam sikit. So I've gotten that feedback before. I stop being such an alpha woman. Just macam, can you tone down a little bit? And then macam, okay lah, if it doesn't vibe you, just block me lah. Just remove me. Just don't follow me if you don't want to vibe with it. Because I know this is what most people would see me as. And I'm doing good to the people that I want to work with. So there will definitely be people yang don't see you the way that you want them to see you. Don't try too much to please everybody because you cannot please everybody in the world. So as long as you feel that you are doing good with what you want to do and the people that you want to work with is happy with that, good enough.
Yeah. And if let's say, Travis, you get a feedback that you're surprised about. Let's say somebody said, oh, you're a bit quiet at work, and you think, oh, that's not me. It would be good to validate that with another person, to say, maybe find someone that you trust, a colleague that you're quite close to, and say, oh, am I too quiet? Yeah. Just to validate that other person who just gave you the feedback that you're surprised about. If another person concur, then okay, maybe there's some truth in it. If not, then maybe it's just that one person's opinion. And back to what Syaza said, that you cannot please everyone. And even though you're doing the same thing, you cannot control other people's reaction. So maybe one person will not vibe with you. I'm learning the lingo now, vibe.
Yes, they cannot vibe with
apparently that's the lingo I must use. So one person might not vibe with you, therefore, yeah, let go of that one feedback. Yeah. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. And then a question from Safwan. Should we and how can we craft our personal brand differently in between careers? How do we know that our brand shift is acceptable and the right move?
Well, it goes back to the name. It is your personal brand. So whether it is acceptable or if it's the right move is if you feel that it's acceptable and it's the right move. So you control your brand. You control the narrative that you want to have for your life. So if in the first job, you want people to see you as extroverted, you take on everything because that's your first couple of jobs and you want to do everything. Okay. And then when you switch job, macam Dr. Azhar cakap, macam when you are in the phase of life that you don't want to climb the career ladder anymore, you've reached the ceiling, you just want to chill, be approachable, let people see you as a kind leader, and then you want to shift it that way, that's also fine. So at the end of the day, we go back to what is the purpose of your personal brand at that point in life. So it doesn't change completely, you're just shifting it slightly or you're focusing on one other aspect. But your brand is not something that you do now, and then you rasa macam, oh, you dah complete one LinkedIn page, okay, that's enough, that's my personal brand. No, because your personal brand evolved with you because it's your person. It's essentially you. You are your personal brand, kan? So selagi you tak mati, selagi tu personal brand you tu kena continue on. Even if after we pass away pun kan, your brand lives on longer than that tau. The feeling that you live when that your family think of you, yeah, like your friends think of you when you gone. Your brand is ongoing. So you don't just, okay, I don't want this persona anymore. I want to change to something else. You want to literally just, I want to quit being Syaza. I want to be a new person. You cannot do that. So it's a matter of you shifting your focus slightly ke apa, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's again about the career goal, and I do say to people, you need to think about what's your next job. So if you're currently at the lower level and the next job is being a manager, is your image right now going to move you towards that level already? So in a way, let's just focus on the dressing. After 1 year in your job, then so your next job will be as a manager. Are you looking like a manager already? Because people are now starting to see, okay, who's the next one for promotion? And so if you start looking and thinking like a manager, people start noticing that. I think that's what people underestimate, in my opinion, how much the bosses are observing around the office. People are constantly observing who's doing what and all that. So therefore, you need to take advantage. So therefore, when you ask, how do I move my brand differently, it really is with your career journey. So as you think, next one is I want to be a manager, and then after that is the head of department. So how do these people look? So you cannot be wearing the same clothes from 5 years ago, and then you become a manager and still wear the same t-shirt. It's like, oh my God. I know it's
But if
like,
you work in tech, mungkin they don't really care. But if you in corporate, depending on where you work,
that's
then
right.
you have
Yeah,
a certain image.
that's the caveat. If you're in certain industry, maybe okay lah. Okay. All right, the next question from, we have a lot of questions already, Syaza.
Yep.
Next one is from Shariman. How to avoid your personal branding outshine your boss in the office?
Oh, my boss
Oh.
love it because then he doesn't have to answer question. I do all the questions. But that's okay because it's your own personal one. So it's not like you're outshining him. He focus on other stuff, you focus on your other stuff. So as long as you're not taking away his work, but in a way macam yelah juga kan. But it's okay. It's completely macam in talent corp sekarang, I think like I go through all their LinkedIn profile semua benda kan. I think I have the most number of followers kot. In the whole company as far as I know of. Even CEO semua tak ada. But then because their level of networking, their level of connection is different than mine.
Yeah.
So then it's completely okay if you outshine your boss in one way because they might not use it as much because they're already at that level yang macam tak perlu pun nak focus too much because they do higher level macro stuff. You do all the micro stuff, then you need more personal branding. So completely fine.
Yeah, I would say be honest and transparent with your boss about what is it that you're doing, for example. And if for myself with my LinkedIn work, is discuss with my boss that it's clear this is for other people's personal development, and he understand what I'm doing. So it's not about outshining your boss or anything. It's about creating an environment where you can do your stuff and still maintaining your 9 to 5 job, obviously, if it's involving other outside work. But it's never about outshining your boss. That we have a understanding how to work together.
Oh, trust me, they like it more so that you can actually do more because of your brand.
That's right.
My
So
boss did that last time.
Ridwan put his hand up. I think he's
Yep.
eager to ask question. Yes, Ridwan.
Okay, Dr. Syaza, thank you very much. Actually, I'm thinking about this parents ni sebab right now I'm working as a community healthcare worker in NGO. So actually our attire kita punya apa tu pemakaian sebenarnya casual sebab kita kerja dengan community. But the thing is that masa before I dibesarkan, dibesarkan dengan cara kalau kita pergi kerja pakai yang kemas. Memang I dulu cita-cita nak jadi profesor lah kan. Jadi bila I kerja dalam bidang ni, because I already have experience buat business, networking, semua, I rasa pemakaian yang professional, look professional is meyakinkan dan memudahkan kerja I. Actually, dalam I punya kerja, because I need to linkage to the services, I more confident with my attire. But the issue is that orang banyak mistaken that I'm more to doctor. They ingat I doctor, and some of them, hi doctor. I'm not sure. Adakah I impersonate, macam menyamar menjadi doktor, ataupun adakah itu satu bagi semangat ke? But because I dah kerja dalam bidang ni about 5 years, yang pakaian seperti macam mana I pakai ni tak semualah, I seorang saja. But I okay, cuma I just nak fikir what kind of personal brand yang I bawa melalui I punya pemakaian tu.
No, but that's good though, because depending on who your audience are and who you meet with, you have to maintain a certain level of professionalism lah, walaupun kerja tu macam relax je kan. Tapi to an extent, macam as long as your audience macam kenal you and you can build that trust, that's okay. If you rasa takut your boss rasa terlebih outshine ke budak ni macam kenapa over sangat kan, have a conversation with them to kind of be like, I buat macam ni because it makes me feel confident. It makes me feel more motivated to do my work. Macam I dress like a student, as you can see. I dress like a student all the time because I work mainly dengan student. Tapi sekarang tak boleh sebab kena kerja dengan stakeholders besar-besar. So I pula kena macam I need to
shopping.
change. I nak kena tukar satu wardrobe I so that it feels a bit more professional lah. Tapi sekarang before kita beli baju baru, kita kena buang semua baju lama yang tak muat dah. So I have to learn how to do that both. So macam bila I work with students, I dress down. But when I go out to events, to meetings, I dress up because I know to work with all these big people, attire is a big deal. So kalau you rasa macam it helps you to be a bit more confident, and also they are able to know you and trust you easily, then okay lah. But as long as tak ada lah sampai you begini macam I doctor, I nak cakap you sebab benda ni as long as you are not claiming that you are a doctor semua benda, shouldn't be an issue pun.
Yeah, I think what you said, Ridwan, about showing your credibility, kan? I think the work that you do is very important, and one part of that is you want them to believe what you say and follow what you're advising them. So therefore, your look is very important. And in my head, I'm thinking it's the same when you go see a GP, kan? Even the GP yang the one that sorry the one yang pakai tak smart sangat, the GP, when they give you advice, you have some hesitation, kan? It's our preconception about people, unfortunately. Yes. If they're not dressed properly, you kind of like, I'm not sure I want to hear their advice. But then kalau doctor tu very smart and all that, you're like, okay, I will do what he says and take the medication. Yeah.
Because so we like to say that we don't have biases, but we do. Everybody has biases.
Yes.
So until you get to a point that you know them personally enough and they know you personally, first impression do matter. So, and in this case, dressing up can help people to build more trust, credibility. Cakap pasal doktor dress up kan the actual session before this kan, my doctor masuk hospital. That's why we had this. Masa pergi follow up tu, dalam PITS klinik tu kan, tiba-tiba ada orang lelaki ni masuk dengan t-shirt, baju polo biasa dengan I think about shorts ke atau kaki, lepas tu dengan bawa helmet motor. Saya ingatkan dia patient punya ayah ke apa kan. Tadi dia cakap dengan doktor, I cakap, oh I dah jumpa patient tu tau, dia dah boleh discharge. I macam, kau doktor ke? Macam at first glance, husband I pun cakap, tu doktor Dia cakap, I thought doktor. Macam, yes, he's a doctor.
Show me your license.
Memang betul. But because when the patient dah kenal dia pun, it doesn't really matter lah when you already know who he is and you've worked with him before. But if as a first person macam tak pernah kenal siapa dia kan, Doktor, okay. A bit weird pakai macam tu tapi okay.
Yeah, first impression matters, kan?
Yes.
They say what? Within 5 seconds, we are making a judgment about somebody. So
Yes.
therefore, appearance is super important. Yeah,
Macam pergi interview. Sebab tu we all
exactly.
dress up at interviews.
True, true. Okay, the next question from Vidya. Any tips from someone who has always been in the backdrop in research lab and data analysis, but itching to move on to science, com, and MSL, plus I am an introverted, extrovert, or an ambivert? Oh, so about the image, I think.
I think dia dah cakap, hope she watch the recording after lah. I'm an ambivert jugalah. I cakap je macam people say I'm an extrovert because I like to talk to people kan. Tapi at the end of the day, I like to talk to people who actually want to listen to me. If you don't want to listen to me, I don't want to talk to anybody at all. But benda ni will actually be good to actually talk to her directly. But okay, working in the backdrop lab data analysis kan, but meeting to move on to science corp. The one thing about data and research is very technical tau. So if you know how to make technical stuff fun and interesting to people, that's the easiest way out. That's the easiest way to transition. Is how do you talk to people so that they actually understand all the things that is going on in the backdrop. That's partly what I do now lah sebenarnya, because macam kat Talent Corp, they do a lot of initiative programs lah, intervention kiri kanan policy semua benda, tapi cap orang tak tahu sangat exactly what they do. So they bring me in to help to curate the whole narrative. Okay, this is what we do, this is all the initiative, this is why it's useful, why it's important. So storytelling is a big part of personal branding. If you know how to tell your experience in a way that makes sense to other people, it doesn't really matter how macam benda tu remeh mana pun, you can make a good story out of it, people will like it. Macam you kerja Grab rider, some people macam when you write resumes and some people macam, tapi I kerja Grab rider je, ataupun I kerja macam dropshipping agent je, macam what can I write about? You can write a lot of stuff if you can talk about how you bring happiness to people, how you help to solve people punya problems, people punya questions, you assist people and answer their problems, semua benda kan. Talk about it in a way that amplify your successes and help to solve the problem at the end of the day.
Yep, yep. I think like what Vidya is asking to add to that is to start thinking about what does the next role needs. Yeah. So what does the SciComm? What is the MSL role? How do I need to get there? Who do I need to talk to? And especially when you're introverted, extroverted, ambivert, then it needs to be even more carefully planned, because every time you meet new people, it's using more energy for you. Therefore, it needs to be a much better targeted networking, I would say, in order for you
Definitely
to change career. Yeah. Okay, next one from Azlin. I like the word 3 area that I can improve instead of 3 things that you didn't like about me. Yeah, that's a
you
good way
tanya I don't
to
like
phrase it.
you don't have any actions that you can take.
Yeah, that's right. Improvement is with things that you can do. Malaysian always loves to hear only good comment, Shariman said. I think not just Malaysian, I think everybody.
No,
Of
but
course.
I find that I get more honest feedback from people who are or like either foreigners or most of my bosses semua benda macam before this was foreigners or at least macam Eurasian lah. So I get a lot more honest feedback from them because they're just very straightforward. Of like, tak ni, can you do this, can you change that? Macam kita kat Malaysia, kita dibesarkan, kita kena berlapik. Macam good other people. Panggil orang encik, tuan, puan, datuk, sri, haji, sir, semua benda kan. Kat sana saya, you just call me by my first name. You have a doctor, don't really care. You have a professor, I don't really care. So because of that level, it's a lot easier to be more honest. Macam tak ada nak bercakap tu berlapis-lapis, takut jaga hati sangat, macam cakap je.
Ya, apa orang kata yang feedback sandwich tu kan, sandwich punya method tu. I don't really like it because I think people use the positive too much, then you get confused like Was
Yes.
there anything to improve or not when you
The
use
feedback matters work as a manager when you're talking to younger people yang mungkin first time kerja, then yes, they need to learn how to take feedback properly, but after a certain time macam you just have to learn to take it straight. Macam tak payahlah not beat around the bush macam oh you actually buat kerja bagus tapi kan dan bercakap je straight lah. Buat benda ni boleh tak betul-betul.
That's right, that's right.
Tapi don't go overboard lah. Some apa style I don't like the style that wasn't tak buat.
Okay.
That style of macam oh you want to guilt trip somebody or you want to tell it straight feedback semua. That's so talking about feedback, that's a whole different topic lah of like how do you tell good feedback to other people. But yeah,
Yes. Macam-macam
berlapik
method.
but not too berlapik.
Ada one time, one course I went to, the guy taught me if you want to give one negative feedback, you must be ready with 5 other positive points. I'm like, oh, 5. Just to be ready, he said, in case there's a lot of resistance to the negative feedback. But, there you go.
Betul.
Okay, from Ridwan and Azrila about the same, about hati kena kuat, mentally prepared when you ask for feedback. Yes, that's right. And Chariman said foreigners always sincere when giving comments. I think direct. I think not sure about sincere, but more direct for sure.
Yes.
Vita had to go already, and someone said feedback technique can be the next workshop. That one definitely kena role play.
Nak yang itu definitely kena role play. You buat tu I invite I nak tengok.
I do this with my team, obviously, and I tell them exactly what not to do and all that. And first time they do it, they will do exactly what I said don't do. But it's normal. It's just normal behavior. Okay. And then Chariman said, play around the bushes. Malaysia tak berani. Malaysia tak berani straightforward comment. Kena buat short course. Yeah, boleh lah Syaza. Nanti kita design something how to get.
When we tell people don't do something, they will do it because you tell them don't do it and then it stays in the back of their
Stays in their mind, right?
Jangan buat. Yang itulah kita buat. Macam baby. Jangan makan lah. Time tu lah dia makan.
That's right. Okay, I think now we can actually move to our next question. This is the most important question. How can we use our personal branding to get what you want?
So most people in terms of career, they have a few goals. One is for budak-budak uni, they want to find a first job or intern or job. For most people in the mid-professional, they want to find a much better, high-paying job. Yeah. And then nak naik manager level ke, nak naik senior management ke, and then at the end of the day, you just want to be at the place that you can retire safely and macam I'm just chill here. For some people yang mungkin dah chill. Some people dah jenis I tak nak, I dah 50-60, I still want to go up. Dipersilakan. So whatever your goal is, usually when we talk about earlier tadi, when you have your goal, then you can start to focus what do you want to focus your personal branding on, kan? Like I give my example, macam my job at Talent Corp now, they created that role for me. So macam when I have to explain to people in Talent Corp, when they ask me, oh you buat apa sebenarnya dalam department tu? I buat semua benda apa-apa yang bos suruh I buat. Sebab I don't have a proper JD sangat. I am not attached to any business units because I'm just floating. I am parked under one department, but I technically do 4 departments because the vice president jaga 4 departments. So I essentially cover all his departments, whatever he wants me to do. So it's a little bit hard, but I've been in touch with him for the last 3 years lah. That's when we kind of got to know each other on LinkedIn because of what Talent Corp does, and I follow them, follow all their events before this. So first time I met him was 3 years ago when I first came back to Malaysia. He read my blog before this when I was really active writing. I don't as much now. So he read my blog semua benda. So he's been trying to kind of like get me to work on a few projects for Talent Corp lah. Before this pun dia dah pernah dah tanya Syaza, you want to write our report for us tak? We have all this data semua benda, we just need help to translate into a report. Lepas tu I macam imposter syndrome I was very bad then. Macam I macam tak pernah tulis report, government report lah, tak pernah tulis proper report. So macam I pass you to my friend, okay? She might be a much better fit. So I keep on doing that, dilly-dally macam tolak-tolak sini. Lepas tu sekali, Syaza, we have this career coaching punya thing. Do you want to be a career coach with us tak? To help other people. I macam, I muda, I baru grad, baru nak start kerja. You want me to help other people to find a job? Are you serious? You want me? Yes, you boleh, you faham all these kids, you faham all their struggles, you boleh senang cerita your pengalaman, nanti tolong motivate dia. So macam, okay, we do it. So that's kind of how, because of my blog and my social media that he saw, jadi into what I'm doing now lah. So when I quit my job last year to jaga my baby pun, dia macam, okay Syaza, I heard you quitting your full-time job. I had a project for you if you want to work for us freelance on this writing project. I match you with one of my department. They will bring up to you and then they can discuss it for this over there. So he sees me, what I can do, what the skills that I have to offer, and he finds opportunity that matches my skills, which is super fun because then you don't have to figure about macam, oh, I nak kerja, oh, kerja ni match dengan aku tak? Ni memang literally, we have this, I know you can do it, come do it for me. So when your brand is strong enough so that people know what you are good at, it's a lot easier for you to find opportunities that is aligned with you. So macam before I actually got this role yang dia nak offer ni, there was another opening dekat Talent Corp that I was macam interested nak tengok kan department lain. So I tanyalah dia, I nampak position Talent Corp ada opening ni, I nak macam nak borak dengan somebody inside to learn more. Lepas tu dia cakap macam, I boleh connect you, tapi I rasa kan you better sesuai masuk I punya department daripada masuk tu. Mungkin tak sesuai dengan you sangat because of who you are as a person tau. Saya macam okay, betul. I borak dengan a few friends yang kerja kat situ pun dia orang macam lah memang tak sesuai sangat dengan you because this is who you are as a person. You are outgoing, you suka buat benda ni, you suka buat event, you suka cakap student. Yang itu walaupun mungkin interesting, mungkin good, tapi macam tak sesuai sangat berbanding this one. So macam okay, then your friends, your people, your network can also see yang mana satu actually sesuai dengan you and mana satu yang macam kurang sesuai. Bukan tak boleh, boleh. You want to expand your comfort zone juga, you want to try something new. But sometimes also macam you want to find a job that is more aligned with your values lah. When you have a strong value, strong personal brand, even the type of companies that you work in pun macam you will be a bit more picky. So last time, because my goal when I work with students is I want them to make the decision that is best for them. Even though it might not be the best for the organization, but as long as it's the best for them, I want them to do it. So bila I apply my first job dulu was at Monash University tau. I work as an academic advisor. But at that point, I was looking into macam kalau kerja marketing university ke, admissions ke, all the sales yang selalu pergi education fair semua benda kan. I like doing all those jobs. Those were fun recruiter job. Tapi some companies bila I tanya KPI macam mana, and they were like, oh, it's based on you get commissions based on how many students you get in. Semua I macam totally you might earn a lot, but macam no, because I don't like to force people to apply just so that I can meet my KPI. I don't want students to apply masuk because I need to match a certain number of student recruitment. Because for me, macam kalau you rasa macam I feel that the students might be more suitable somewhere else, macam go somewhere that you can grow. Yeah. So macam if it's based on how many numbers you get in, probably not. If it's based on how many numbers you keep in, then yes. Because we want to retain the students. Tak naklah masuk, lepas tu seminggu 2 minggu keluar balik. And then what's the point kan? You bazir masa you bazir masa student do.
Yeah.
So for me pun that branding, that values tu actually help lah. Macam okay, I tahu okay, I takkan apply kat sini because of how they do their stuff. I takkan apply kat sini because they believe in something that is different than me. So it helps you to kind of focus on what type of work, what type of industry, what type of companies that you want to work in, and that helps you to also grow your brand juga lah.
Yeah. And it is very related. The branding work is very related to your exposure work, kan? Because it opens the door, and then after that, obviously you have to spend time on improving your networking with the person, improving their relationship. So like your example, you connected with the guy 3 years ago, and over that 3 years, you nurture your relationship to get to the point that you are today. Yeah. So in a way, I would say look at the personal image to help you open the doors for your networking, and after that, the next part of career work is about the networking and increasing your relationship with people. So I think that's essentially how you need to use your personal brand to help with your career development, to start opening the door to make people notice you in order for you to then get the opportunity that you want, just like what Syaza has had in her career. I think your career is so inspiring. I love it. So and the next question is very important too, about how do we make our personal branding consistent and congruent and not cha cha cha. What is cha cha marba?
Serabut.
Okay. I'm obviously
I think
not.
at the end of the day, how do you make it consistent is you focus on one thing at a time. Focus on I think some people have this thought, they at the start of every year, they be like, okay, this is one word that I want to live my whole year with. So do that with your personal brand. I want it to be just focus on one thing and do that alone, do that well, rather than trying too much at the same time. You are on LinkedIn, but you are on TikTok, or you are on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on everywhere, you nak buat semua benda, you don't have time to manage, and jadi macam malah macam tu kan, you become very serabut, very disorganized. So you focus on one, do that well, and then if you actually you have more time and effort to actually invest and start doing something else, then you focus on that. So macam I get a lot, so I run my own career coaching business called Kerja Kerjaya. I get a lot of orang macam cakap, Syaza, buatlah TikTok kan, you'll be good at. I don't like to talk and edit videos though. I am good at talking, as you can probably see. I cannot stop talking. But I'm very bad at talking and recording my own self and then editing it and posting on TikTok. I'm very, very bad at that. So I believe that my strength is in writing. So I write a lot. I focus on that. I focus on my Kerja Kerjaya newsletter yang dah 2 minggu tak update. I focus on the Kerja Kerjaya blog semua benda. So I focus on that for now until I have the mental capacity to actually do more. So dia tak payahlah rushing buat semua benda at the same time because people are doing it. You focus on what is important and do that first. And once you feel that is off to a good start, you rasa macam, okay, I have more time to focus on something else, do it. So same goes to your branding pun, values, you only focus on one. Macam janganlah serabut sangat. So macam 3 word that you want to live with, then try to do as much as possible for those 3. Jangan focus on 10 words. Jangan focus on 20 values because that's too much.
Too much. Yeah, and then related to that, it's I learned this from another coach about it's your appearance, it's your behavior, and your communication. If you want to break it down that way, let's say one of your word is about being professional. So therefore, your appearance, how you dress, and all that, how you comb your hair, all that kind of thing has to be professional. And then your behavior needs to be professional too. And then your communication, your email, your WhatsApp must be professional as well. So if one of that is not consistent with that, that's when people get confused. So let's say you look professional, but then cakap serabut semua kan, then it's not professional. Then people get confused about what is the image that you're trying to portray. And then let's say 9 to 5 you're very well behaved, and then pergi dinner semua tu dah wah, then that's also not consistent, and people get confused about which one are you. So therefore that part need to pay attention to, that you're consistent all the time with what you choose to do in terms of those 1 word or 2 words or 3 words, but not 10, not 20. Be consistent
and I think it's also important to remember that you don't have to have 2 different personas for personal and professional tau. Personal life. So I am very macam selekit and in some ways selekit serabut, but also very outgoing, outspoken in real life and also at work tau. Because if you have 2 different personas at work and in real life, it's very, very hard to keep that balance of like when do you be your professional self, when do you be your personal self. So macam Dia tak adalah macam be who you are at home at work, tapi to a certain aspect macam don't pretend to be someone that you're not.
Yeah.
Because keeping up an image is very, very hard. Artists do that all the time. And you boleh nampak lah bila something happen kan, that completely just tarnish their image because dia orang nampak macam, oh, dia actually macam is a fake image that they're trying to put out. So you don't want to put up a fake image. You want to put up in public the best version of yourself. However that is, you want to put up the best version. The not so best, so you simpan sendiri, family you, your close friends tahu macam tu lah. Cerita that's your normal day-to-day self at home, outside of work life. But when you put out to people, you want to put the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Not a fake version of you.
Yeah, I agree. I gave this advice to someone before that pharmaceutical industry is in a way quite conservative. Yeah. And therefore there's certain behavior, certain etiquette that we expect from our employee and the doctors that we meet. Doctors are our clients, or that the doctors expect. And my advice to this person was that if it's very hard to conform to this, then you're essentially not in the right industry. Yeah. If you feel you have to work so hard to be accepted in this industry, that means that it's not the right one. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes this is just not the right job for us. And again, to what you say, although we want to be the best version, but if it's taking so much effort to fit in, then it's probably not the right industry because you cannot keep it up. It's very tiring to be not yourself. Yeah.
Penat. Sebab tu I tak masuk corporate. So I did my background, my studies is in actuarial science. So I did a BBA, Bachelor of Business Admin in actuarial science. Kononnya memang nak lah buat benda tu kan. And then in uni, I went for company visits, I went to company info sessions, webinar, semua benda kan. I macam, this is too dry, this is too boring, it doesn't feel, I feel like I was making myself to kind of fit in dengan everybody because everybody is like so prim and proper and I'm macam, what I don't enjoy that. So when I jumped into education, oh, this is my life, this is my calling, this is me. Macam I don't have to fake, this is who I am really. So macam when you get into that feeling of like you can be yourself at work, but be your best self, then that's where you belong. That's the work values that align with your own personal values.
Yeah. I agree with that. Sometimes you just have to keep looking if it's not the right industry yet for
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Sometimes right industry, wrong companies.
True also. Yeah.
Or right company, right industry, wrong job. So you might not be fitted in the back end ke, you might be fitted in certain department yang front facing ke apa. Then it's a trial and error. You find where you are most suitable for.
Yeah. So we actually have already passed 10 o'clock. Maybe we take one last question. Yeah. So let's see yang mana question. Okay. The next one yang ada question is from Ridwan. How about for a person with cannot even say multi-potential life? Apa tu Ridwan?
Apa tu Ridwan? Saya cakap sikit.
Because I engage with a career counselor walaupun dah 42, because I have my experience about macam cendol durian rojak, cendol durian tapai. So after I have undergo the session, he said the one word, I have a multi potential life. Is macam kata kita tahu banyak benda, experience, but I want to find how my personal brand to suit. Macam tadi beritahu tadi kena cari satu benda kan, so kita fokus. So how untuk seseorang yang dia minat banyak benda, macam tu.
Okay, this is one thing. Okay, so this is kind of also partly me lah. Even though I don't use that particular term. So in this world, there's three types of people. I like to use this analogy that I found on Tumblr a few years ago. You can find inspiration from everywhere. So Tumblr gave me this inspiration. There's three types of people in this world. if you tengok macam style pokok lah, some people jenis macam pokok kelapa, pokok-pokok besar yang all this, yang they will grow and grow and grow tall and big. So these are the type of people yang memang focus on career ladders. They want to climb up, they want to reach the top, they want to be CEOs, they want to be senior managers, head of department, they want to do all the big stuff macam Dr. Azhar dah buat sampai ke atas. Okay, aku dah penat. Cukup lah. I'm good with this. Some people macam tu, they hustle, they are laser focused in that. You see this a lot with corporate people of big four or this semua benda yang memang their sole goal, aku nak naik atas tu. That's it. Then there are people jenis yang pokok yang duduk kat satu tempat but their akar goes way 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 deep in the earth. They will build a very really strong potential kat situ. The foundation dah strut, you memang duduk kat situ je. This happens a lot more with older generation yang memang you duduk bertapak loyal to one company, you build up that experience, that wealth of knowledge, semua benda in one particular area. You go very specialized in that. You are really really good kat situ. This is your turf, this is your ground. You can, no matter how much the wolf huff and puff, you will never go down. Essentially, this is how strong you are in that one area. Some people, in this case yang multi potential like apa, macam pokok menjala. Sekejap nak pergi sini, sekejap nak pergi sana, because everything in the world is fun. Everything in the world is interesting. You nak cuba semua benda. I get that a lot because I macam jenis yang tak boleh diam. I suka buat semua benda. To a certain extent, dia penat. So I will do it macam mana. Kalau ada banyak sangat idea, I say, okay, sit down, you write down all your interests, you focus on, I want to do this first now. And then you think about, okay, I have accomplished this and then I want to do this thing next. So you can have as many interests and as many aspirations as possible. Macam dulu my goal is to be a pediatrician sebab I suka budak. Tapi macam obviously I cannot be a doctor because I will faint at the sight of blood. Tapi I still suka kerja dengan budak, I still suka kerja dengan students. So I find other avenues that can assist that. We are humans, our passion, our skills, our interest, it changes over time. So kita tak naklah duduk satu tempat yang macam kita duduk studium macam lama-lama kan. So macam if you jenis yang memang suka mengeksplore, mungkin you can find one job that you feel really strongly passionate about and do that, but you have other time outside of work. Your life is not just about work. So you find other space outside of work, other avenues that can help you to create and do whatever else that you want to do that you cannot do in work. So, macam mungkin your work you focus on one or two areas. Tapi macam I suka music, I suka melukis, I suka buat. Then you do it outside of work because then you focus your focus at work is one thing only. But then it's completely also okay to try to find jobs that can help you to do as many of your interests as possible. So macam my job sekarang, I dapat bercakap dengan student, I dapat buat all the fun ideas, campaigns, marketing punya stuff, I dapat jumpa orang besar just to talk to them. I get to see a lot of everything. But then there are also certain stuff yang I cannot do at work. So macam okay, balik rumah macam then I do all the other fun stuff yang I tak boleh buat kerja. So you don't define yourself just by what you do at work. You can always have other space outside, other community organisation, other NGOs, other volunteer work, or some people buat side hustle so that they can have other space to do that.
Tu komen Ridwan. Syariman suruh jadi influencer. He's gonna be your follower dah.
I jadi influencer. Bagi orang demam.
InsyaAllah.
Awesome. Okay, then we are way beyond our time already. So thank
I dah
you.
cakap dah. Kalau I bercakap, tak berhenti.
No, but we also had so many questions, and they are very relevant questions. And we had some very nice discussion tonight. I think everybody got to take away some good messages. I hope everyone will do the feedback session with your friends and your colleague. That one I think will change how you then think about your personal branding. Getting that feedback will help you to refine for 2024 what you want to do to be better at your personal branding in achieving your goal.
You can phrase your question by saying, I am working on my 2024 goal right now.
Yeah.
Can you give me what I'm good at and what I can improve on, kan?
Yeah, that's right. So Ridwan already asking. Oh no, Shariman asking, ada plan part 2 for this webinar gitu. Tengok I have to sweet talk Syaza whether she wants to do
Have to sweet talk the little baby boss kat belakang.
and a little baby boss as well.
Hari dah tidur. Sedap.
Okay, so if you have any feedback, you can type in the chat. That would be great for us to hear what you say about tonight's session. And from my side, I write a newsletter as well. Syaza also has a newsletter. Mine is called Career Autobahn because I worked in Germany before, and Autobahn has no speed limit. And what I want to get across is your career has no limit. It really is up to you how you want your career to be. So if you want to be a subscriber, you can scan my QR code over there. And then this weekend, if you are interested if you're somebody who writes on LinkedIn, so I know Ridwan is coming, I will teach about how I write my LinkedIn post. A few people ask me how I do that. And it really is my own experience, how I write it, and I'll be sharing that. I don't know whether it will work for you or not. This is how I do it, that I write my LinkedIn post every day. And hopefully it will be beneficial if you are interested in writing more on LinkedIn. So do come and you can register using that QR code. And then if you want to be connected with Syaza in more detail, you can look at her website, which is the Kerja Kerjaya, and that's the QR code to help you get there. And Syaza has a lot of materials actually on that already about career development. And I love that there are so many things that people can do these days already yourself. When you look around for material, it's now about asking a bit more guidance and then implementing what you have learned. We learned a lot, but I'm not sure many of us put it into action. Theory banyak tapi action.
Oh, theory sangat banyak.
Yeah, theory banyak sangat. Okay, so thank you so much. And any last word from you, Syaza, for our audience tonight?
Fun homework. Balik ni bukanlah nama tengok keluar apa.
Yeah, do that. So 2 homework today, Google your name, and then after that, ask for feedback about your personal branding.
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome. I think for me, kalau I Google, it's always my blog dulu, and then LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So it's usually in those 4 tu lah.
For categories, yeah.
But then again, because the blog is like 10 plus years old, so macam obviously it's going to rank higher lah.
Right. Okay, awesome. Thank you, everybody, and have a good evening the rest of the night.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, guten Nacht. Yeah, that's right.
Muka dah mengantuk dah ni.
Are you tidur awal ke selalu?
Tak juga sebenarnya, tapi sebab entah dengan semalam dia tak tidur sangat budak tu. Malam dia terjaga je, so macam tak cukup. But usually I at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Syaza. That was really awesome. Yeah, so much interest all the time about personal branding. Yeah.
I personal branding is one of the topic that you put me on the stage, I can talk for 1 hour without any prep. Non-stop. And also sebab I baru siap personal branding punya workshop slides for personal branding DRB Highcom University.
Oh, really? Okay.
But now that I'm in Talent Corp, so I have to switch all my slides from Kerja Kerjaya to Talent Corp News. But they've never done it internally, because they've always invited external people to do it, which one of it is me lah. I used to talk for Talent Corp from outside kan. So now that I'm inside, I tak boleh pakai slide Kerja Kerjaya. So I kena buat slides Talent Corp. So it's also a refresher of like creating the resume module in-house, creating their personal brand, creating their LinkedIn punya slides in-house. So dan lepas ni semua benda, diorang dah gurau dah. Oh tak payahlah panggil external speaker, kita dah ada Syaza in-house speaker dah. Campak semua tempat.
Dah experience kan.
Dah kita jimat duit, tak payah hire external speaker dah. Kita just panggil Syaza je, so dia datang bercakap. So I kena campak pergi pekan lagi 2 minggu.
Wow, really?
Yes. DIB High Com twice. So weekend 2-3 hari bulan tu, lepas tu 7 December akan pergi lagi. Next week I'm going up to UTP for a podcast recording session, which I don't actually know what the questions will be. So I must give me the questions so I boleh prepare. Kalau tak nanti macam ni I am baby macam never end.
Well, you have a lot of stories. That's good. That's what people want to hear, kan?
Tapi tu yang susah sebab if nobody stops me, I will go on and on and on. And I have the tendency untuk macam cakap laju tau. So bila sekolah dulu, my boss macam Syaza, speak slowly, enunciate your word. Okay, slowly.
No lah, for me just right. Actually.
Oh,
And
you
there's
worked
follow-up question.
abroad, so you are used to it.
Oh, yeah. True,
So
true.
younger people and people who have never been abroad or don't have limited exposure to international, for them it's very, very fast.